Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. This video we are looking at the Monday slate for MLB. We have a huge 13-game slate today, so let's get started. As always, appreciate if you guys hit the like button if you guys enjoy the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Looking at the lineups today, we have a monster slate. Looks like we're going to have JC Mejia against Dean Kramer. They haven't posted that officially on Fantasy Labs, but that's what DraftKings has at least. So assuming we have Kramer against Mejia, we can look to both of these offenses to target. Especially going with some one-offs on the Baltimore side with like Mullins. He looks like a great one-off play. You can go with like a Mountcastle potentially or a Santander to round out a mini stack, but Mullins is my favorite one-off on the Orioles. And then on the Indians, definitely can look to stack them up a bit. You have Harold Ramirez, only $2,800. Bobby Bradley, 37. Rosario, 36. And Ramirez, 57. That would be a nice four-man stack there. Probably one of my favorite stacks today is going to be the St. Louis Cardinals against Braxton Garrett at lefty. So we know Arenado's a great lefty hitter. We know Goldschmidt's a great lefty hitter. Those are two guys that look great right off the gates. And then you can go O'Neill, who has like 14 bombs already this season. Throw in like a Edman or Carlson. That looks like a nice stack to get to. We have Coors on the slate. Gomber's been pitching well this season, but Coors always never know what's going to happen there with the pitching. I think you definitely want to look to a couple Padres, potentially Machado, who's been always good against lefties, Tatis, and then like Will Myers, just because he's somewhat affordable at 44. And then if we do get Mateo at $2,500 in the lineup, we even need a value play. He would be the guy. We also have the Giants, who've been explosive, very explosive offense this season, even though nobody really expected that coming into this year. Going up against Matthew Peacock, looking at this lineup, they've been scoring a ton of runs at some of these games, breaking slates. So I have to like a couple of them, probably like Crawford as a shortstop option. Throw in a Brandon Belt, maybe throw in a Lamonte Wade. A couple of those guys, Posey is probably one of the better catching options today at $4,600. And then the Dodgers probably will get a lot of ownership. I think if I was going to go with anybody, I would look to going with someone like the second baseman Lux as a value play or going all the way up to Betts. I don't think I need to pay 46 for Taylor or 54 for Turner. We'll see if Bellinger is in the lineup. So I'm not really looking to stack the Dodgers. Probably look to a couple of one-offs or a two-man stack. But some of my favorite offenses target are the Cardinals for sure. Maybe throw in some of these Milwaukee Brewers. Throw in a couple of cheap Royals like a Soler against a lefty or Dozier against a lefty. And that's kind of it. And then on the Mets side, you also have a very affordable Lindor who's been swinging a better bat. And then on the Red Sox side, it is going to be like Martinez slowed down a little bit. He's batting under 250 or like about under 230 in his last 10, but still a viable option. I like him more against lefties. But probably look to like a Verdugo maybe. Throw in like Devers. But probably my favorite stack has to be the Cardinals. And then followed by some one-offs on some of these other teams that I do like. Going back to DraftKings, pitching-wise, you only have like two top-end studs today with Glasnow and Lynn. I don't think Manea is in that same class, just in terms of strikeout upside and just upside in general. He's not in the class of Glasnow or Lynn. Glasnow and Lynn are both scoring off against each other. I'd probably like to get to at least one of those two guys just for some safety, especially when you need two pitchers on DraftKings. And for me, it's going to be Glasnow just because he gives you so much strikeout upside, 117 Ks in 84 innings. Even if he gives up a run or two against his powerful offense, if he racks up double-digit strikeouts, which he has been doing in a majority of his starts, he's going to be fine. Put up like high 20s, low 30s, maybe mid 30s. And then a second pitcher, if you wanted to go cheap here to fit in some of these expensive bats and cores or some of these other stacks that you want to get to, we do have quite a number of options below 7,000. We have John Lester, although nobody really likes playing him, but he's probably one of the best spots he'll get against Pittsburgh. We have Brad Keller, who's been pitching a lot better. He's $6,400. Those two look good out of the just like as a below 7K option. And the Gutierrez has been pitching well. The Brewers have a high total. It's been a very small sample size, so I don't know if you really want to buy into it right now. Maybe if you play some tournaments, he would be an option. But for me, I will go and take a shot on like a Brad Keller against a bad Detroit Tigers offense. He got off to an absolutely horrendous start. He got blown up in a couple of starts right out of the gates. But recently he's been fine, putting up some teens. Tough matchup for him last time against the Angels, but before that, 17 against the Twins, 16 against the Twins, 27 against the Rays, 21 against the White Sox. So he's been pitching well in some tough environments. He pitched 6 innings against his Tigers team earlier, Threw 103 pitches, which is great. Put up 15.5, which wouldn't kill you at this price tag, but we know he does have more upside than that, especially if he pitches as well as he did in some of his recent starts. I think he will have a shot to put up north of 20 fantasy points, and that would be great at only $6,400. So going Glasnow and Keller with as my pitching options. Looking at some of these bats that I like, first base, plug in Paul Goldschmidt. He's been a bit cold this year against lefties, but it's been a small sample size. I will buy into his career numbers, which are over a 316 batting average. ISO is well over 200, probably like 240, 250 at least. And he's at home against a lefty that doesn't have very much experience. This Cardinals offense, I expect to put up some runs today, and I think Goldie will be right in the heart of that. Hopefully that does happen. Another guy that I like is Lindor. Throw him in the shortstop position. You have Tatis here as well at $6,100. You have some other expensive guys like Bogarts, Bichette, who's been amazing. But I like Lindor's price tag. He's just very affordable. He's been a lot better recently. His home run numbers are up to 6 after he was stuck at like 2 for so long. Over his past 10, he's batting north of 320, so that is great to see. He's starting to get out of his slump that he started, and it's really not because he's striking out very much. He only has 40 strikeouts and 206 at-bats, so it's about under 20% strikeout rate. He's just not making the contact that he is making, hitting right to guys. But recently, he's been doing better than that. He's been getting unlucky with the BABIP. Seen that start to turn around recently, and the price tag for him, he's sandwiched in between guys like Adames. Story's been good, but Lamet's a good pitcher, and then like Rojas, Lux, I'd rather definitely get up to Lindor. Crawford is the other guy that you can plug in at 41 if you wanted to. And then in the outfield, Cedric Mullins, another guy that's been super hot recently, and he's just way too cheap. $3,500 for a guy that's batting 400 in his last, or 450 in his last 10 games with 3 bombs. Also gives you a bunch of speed with already 10 stolen bases. Power speed combination batting, lead off for the team. Looks to maybe get 5 at-bats here on the road. Guy that gives you 35, 40 point upside if he has like a couple of the games that he did have recently. Those were against the same Indians team, so maybe just a good spot for him against Cleveland. But I think he's just way too cheap. At $3,500, given the way he's been swinging the bat in baseball, it's really, I like to try to get the guys that are hot recently because if guys are cold, they tend to stay cold for a bit, and if guys are hot, they stay hot for a bit, and the matchup is good against a pitcher who is probably only going to go a couple of innings. He's only thrown 50 pitches as his max, or 49 pitches, something like 50 pitches what he threw on the 4th. He probably will go like 3-4 innings, and then you'll get the bullpen, so good spot for Mullins. And then the final guy that you can plug in if you're looking to stack up the Cardinals a bit, maybe throw in a Tyler O'Neill. Lefty-righty matchup for him. He's done more of his damage against righties this year, but not too worried. He gives you a lot of power, 15 bombs on the season, swinging a very good bat as well recently, and it's just a good spot for him. 4,000 for a power hitter, gives you double dong upside, maybe gets you 5 at-bats if this stack does go off. But gotta like Tyler O'Neill today, especially if you're looking to stack up the Cardinals. And that's about it for the DraftKings side. It still leaves you with 4,300 left, so let's go ahead and look at FanDuel pricing. All right, on FanDuel here, pitching-wise, we have, Lynn is more expensive than Glasnow. I want to get to at least one of those two. I'd rather go to Glasnow just with the more strikeout upside. Catcher, first base, a couple of guys I like. Paul Goldschmidt to plug in at $3,100 against a lefty. And then another guy that's very good against lefties is Salvador Perez. Checks in at only $3,000 if you wanted to get to a Kansas City Royal. He looks like a great option. In the outfield, we have a very cheap hitter that is super expensive on DraftKings. It's one of the most expensive hitters on DraftKings in the outfield spot, but on FanDuel, you get Mike Yastrzemski, not Wyatt. You get Yastrzemski at only $2,500. Guy that bats second. He's been a little bit better recently. He got off to a very dreadful start, but he's been fine recently. The Giants have a high total at home. Yastrzemski batting second, lefty-righty. I will definitely pay $2,500 for him. And then throw in Lindor, just because he is so affordable on both sides. Only $3K on FanDuel makes some sense. He's been swinging a better bat, and it's a good spot for him today against the Cubs here at home. Arrieta is not a good pitcher anymore. Gives up contact, gives up some home runs, gives up walks. So Lindor should hopefully have a good game today. And that's about it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Best of luck today. I'll catch you all next time.